end zone. Pruitt and Tim Collier had some disagreement after the play was blown dead. Following a brief scuffle in which neither player was in any danger of hurting the other, both were tossed out of the game. Many felt then that the loss of key offensive weapon Pruitt would hurt the Browns in their final desperation drive.
The 2-yard line. Greg Landry brings them up. McCauley and Hardiman to the setbacks for the coach. Hardiman. It's Bill Kohler who pulled him down after a gain of about a yard.
Halftime in Green Bay, the Saints. Two field goals by Tony Galvin, who was called in the action. Russell Ertzleben hurt himself in the pregame warm-up. Archie Manning has thrown a touchdown pass in that.
Hardiman and McCauley. The slot on the right side. Greg Landry rolls left. Dowdy in and out.
Going to call interference here on Cedric Brown, number 34. Looked like he made a good move from our vantage point. There's Cedric Brown, Lindsay, on the ground there. It looked like he deflected that, and he's hot.
But immediately.
That's right.
Pass interference, 34. Defense, first down.
Could be a little personal foul.
Unsportsmanlike, 61. Defense on the sideline. He's disqualified.
There he goes.
Down.
Well, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
It's Greg Roberts.
is disqualified by conduct along the sidelines, and he's out of the ball game and a 15-yard penalty.
Unsportsmanlike is 64 instead of 61. Defense disqualified.
Well, that's on the left side. That's the starting left guard for Tampa Bay, Greg Horton.
That's what McKay was checking on. See.
Back for this punt now from Rick Partridge. Almost too many people on the field. The Lions just got a man off. That's not a good kick. He hit it off the side of his foot. Are they going to get a roll? The Saints get a break all the way down to the 5-yard line. And look at this, another fight. Luther Blue got into it with Kobach. And now at the 5-yard line is where the Lions will have the football with 7:01 left to play. While you were away, we have been told that Luther Blue has been kicked out of the game. Unnecessary roughness, half the distance to the goal. If Blue is 89.
There he is. Luther came in, made contact, and then you see a lot of black shirts going after him. And they disqualified him.
Half the distance to the goal. The Cardinals from the 33 of Minnesota. 3-0, St. Louis. Tilley in motion. Anderson breaks it to the 25. That'll be a first down run. And again, I can't get over his ability. Look out, we've got some people. One of the officials was pushed out there. A flag has been thrown. That's Fred McNeil, who's very upset. And he, I believe, is going to have a penalty tacked on that one.
I don't think you push the officials, do you?
I don't believe he's going to get away with that one.
Boy, he gave him a shot. I think he was just frustrated because somebody hit him late on the play.
McNeil is playing with a bad toe. He did not start the game. Darrell Luce did, but he's back in there. They're going to explain that to Bud Grant. So that would be 15 yards tacked on. And that puts the Cardinals in excellent position. Go back and see what made him so upset.
Yeah, it's a late hit. I don't know if it's an intentional late hit or not. You see McNeil coming in. He's trying to trap Anderson behind the line of scrimmage. Follow number 54 now. He goes down, and he gets right back up. You see him. He's back up into the play. Now you see him on the left of your screen. I think number 65, Brad Oates, hits him. Brad Oates came through and just turned him a flip after the play was over.
Unsportsmanlike, number 54, defense, disqualified, first down.
Well, that means his services will no longer be needed as McNeil has been banished from the football game.
Disqualified.
Yes, sir. So
they'll let him throw it. They'll let him throw it as far as he can. There it is. And it's, nope, dropped by Lester Hayes with 3 seconds left. And look at that, Morton. Oh, we got a little skirmish between Willie Jones, and he's being protected by Broncos 64, Bill Bryan, the center. And a flag goes down.
Charles Filia in there, number 77, has to be one of the biggest players in the game of football. Involved a little bit of that action.
3 seconds show on the clock.
That's a big victory for the Oakland Raiders. They've had a frustrating season. They've had a lot of injuries, a lot of problems. Tom Flores making the transition as the head coach. They certainly have not had the kind of year that Al Davis and his organization are used to. But they get a little pride back with this victory over Denver. Can't help but feel there'll be some satisfaction for them and for their fans back in Oakland. And they're looking forward to a big game next week down in New Orleans, Dick. New Orleans a big victor today, and that should be quite a shootout, too.
Well, the Raiders are not mathematically eliminated. As we said before, they have not had a losing season in 15 years. And Tom Flores says we don't intend to chalk one up this year. See just what Dick Jorgensen has been able to figure out. Well, it's going to go against the Raiders, a 15-yard personal foul. They certainly don't want to commit that kind of mistake. Now that puts Morton 40 yards from the goal line, and with his arm, he's got a little better chance at a final miracle throw.
Now this makes it a little bit easier. This will be the last, though. We're pushing an official.
Willie Jones.
One thing you definitely do not want to do in one of these games. Can't be allowed, and I have to say that it's a very unsportsmanlike.
And Jackson did well to get it away. There is a penalty marker down. Here comes T. Bell. He's across the 40. Turns the corner. He's across the 50. And Bell goes out of bounds at about the 45-yard line of Buffalo.
And I think the penalty will be on Buffalo because the punter took a little too much time to kick it since it hit the ground. He made a good play, but you get in a hurry when you're an offensive lineman.
Second down and 2, Pittsburgh. Pitch back goes to Franco Harris. And Harris powers his way down to the 35-yard line. Buffalo. Bradshaw with men on either flank gives off to his big back, Franco Harris. And look at that burst of speed. The stutter step and then the acceleration. It's been his hallmark as one of the game's premier runners, and Franco Harris accelerates ahead for 14 yards and a first down. Bradshaw, first down, takes a look into the end zone. Broken up by Nixon. Nixon's only been starting now for the last 5 games, but he has 5 interceptions. John Stallwood goes wide to the left and second down and 10. Lynn Swan is on the right flank. As Bradshaw rolls out, here's the rush from Kalish. He swings it out and goes to Benny Cunningham. And Cunningham, who is a full load when he gets it moving, takes it down inside the 15-yard line. On second and 10, he might have a first down. The scores are coming in, and some of the guys have cashed in, I think. Maybe New.
Well, I think John Madden said it. He said Terry Bradshaw's the most important single player on any team in the National Football League right now. I happen to agree with him. He does so many things well. Here's an occasion where his receiver was well covered. He had to pick up a first down, puts his head down and picks it up. Let's see if we can figure out what happened.
Charles Romes covered the black deed. It was accidental, though. It's Freeman came in and rode him down. Helmet came off and apparently took a cleat on the head.
Listen, the tight end is wide to the left. The other receivers, Logan and Rucker, split right. First and 10 at the 42-yard line, and Mike Pruitt is hemmed in and doesn't go anywhere. And I think John Anderson, who has played a very active game at linebacker, had some help from George Cumby. Second half. Plenty of time to go in the fourth quarter. Sight, 3rd and 8, penalty marker down, and Sight directing traffic, loops one to Calvin Hill, and it's incomplete. But we have the penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage and a holding call against Cleveland. A hold against the Browns.
Holding, 73 offense, refused, 4th down.
Field, 2nd and 33. Third quarter, nearly 5 minutes gone by. Sight dumps it off to Mike Pruitt, who can't get away, and in fact was dragging Mike McCoy a yard or two. The other Johnson is Ezra, number 90.
Ezra Johnson, big pass rusher, has been very important in the pack scheme of the 4-3 now in the 34. And he's working real hard right there.
The Browns and the Packers, 42. Sight, penalty marker down. And Brian is trying to find someone open and finally just lofts it untouched downfield. Charles Johnson. Now, I don't know if that's the sign for ejection of the game, but let's wait and see. Charles Johnson.
Personal foul, disqualification, 99, roughing the quarterback.
Charles Johnson has been thrown out of the game for roughing the quarterback and holding cold against the Browns. And here it is, as Charles Johnson was disqualified for roughing Ryan Sight.
We're going to replay the down. At 73 offense holding, disqualification 99 defense, still third down.
Back at the 7-yard line. And again, you hear the crowd urging their Steeler defensive unit on. Hadnot looking to get out of trouble across the 10, but another flag as Lambert brought Hadnot down.
Kansas City can't win for losing in this drive. They got a holding penalty coming up against them. There's no excuse for holding on a running play either, Barbara. On a pass, I can see it, but not a running play. One of my pet peeves in the NFL. Of course, I'm not down there playing.
And it's Harris. Penalty marker is down as Harris picked up the first down. But a flag is thrown.
Can't be against the Steelers. It was just a Harris off the left guard. He made the first down, though, so it's an academic. They'll get an extra 4 yards on the penalty. But Harris has been the man in the second half. He has opened up the offense for Pittsburgh with his running.
63 yards in all, 17 carries.
Extra edge. Favre to stop that fourth down.